Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome back to another episode of our Planet Zoo franchise mode Let's Play. We're going to dive right back into Elite Zoo South. As always, and as has sort of become tradition in saying in these last handful of episodes, there is a lot to accomplish today. Today is a new animal day, and I'm sure the thumbnail and title have already given it away, so I'm not going to, beat around the bush and all, as it were. I think I mentioned a couple of sessions ago that we were going to be adding a new animal in today's session, or soon, I guess was the implication back then. But it was between the cassowary and the did I say cassowary? Cassowary, yeah. It was between the cassowary and the otter, and I kind of threw it out there to see people's opinions. And so I was reading through the comments of that session, which is now I think 3 or 4 sessions ago, reading through those comments to get an idea of how people felt and which way they were leaning, and based on that, I've come up with a decision. I know some of you thought that I outright said it was going to be one or the other. That was never the case. I might have said which way I was leaning, but again, and I can't stress this enough, I stress it very often, I hope I don't sound like a broken record, but remember, nothing is set in stone until it has actually happened. So, yeah, just want to throw that out there. But we are adding, I can set this in stone right now, a new animal today. So let's go ahead and get the time right, the time of day correct, so that the lighting is looking pretty good. What we're going to do is we're going to, take a look at the animal's description, all the information that we take a look at before we dive into our time lapse. And then we dive into the time lapse, get the animal in there, make sure that they're entirely satisfied and happy, and just all those boxes are checked, as it were. And hopefully we make some good progress. In the next session, we'll try and cap that enclosure off, obviously. And then we move on to, we'll see, I suppose. Now, I want to say, actually, I just noticed this. I quite like how this shadow looks. Saw it from all the way up over there, and I was like, yeah, I'm really pleased with this space. It was so long ago now to think back on this is almost strange. It has been strange. That tour last session was it definitely hit a lot of nostalgia points, I suppose, just showing areas that are done, areas that need some work, and there are quite a few things that need some work, and I've seen the comments of the previous episode with regards to how we should maybe adjust our management approach for the kangaroos, for example, some of the dogs and whatnot as well. Now, I'm going to be again, transparent as always. I was unfortunately not able to go through all of the comments of the previous episode as thoroughly as I usually like to. This is a bit of an insane weekend up ahead of me. We've got Chinese New Year's today. There's Valentine's Day coming up as well. And, Monday is also a sort of a long weekend, and I want to try and free up some time to try and wind down. So I wanted to make sure also, though, that I wanted to make sure we had this episode. I wanted to make sure that I was able to get to this episode despite plans for celebration and stuff later today, especially. So I had to make that executive decision, as it were. I hope y'all don't mind. I will still go back and read through those comments, but feel free again to repeat yourself in this session's comments, because there's nothing that's going to be stopping me or preventing me from checking through those. I just wanted to mention that because, again, I just want to be fully transparent with regards to sort of what's going on and what to expect. But I did see some comments with regards to, as I was saying, how we're managing certain things, a couple of visual issues here and there, like the bedding for the jaguars floating. I believe we've tried to fix this before, and I have noticed this before as well, but I think it just breaks the terrain, doesn't it? If I lower this, doesn't it it does something here. I guess that's not so bad if I undo. Yeah, I guess that's okay, actually. So fine, let's go ahead and do that. There was that. There was a couple other things, but we'll tackle all that, honestly, all together, I think, either later in today's session or in a future session. Some of the animal management stuff obviously has to be done more urgently to prevent some of the inbreeding and to ensure continued proper breeding and continued population growth and things like that. But I feel like we should almost have a management session sometime soon. The last session was supposed to double up as both, but I feel like we did a lot more looking and a lot less managing. The managing we did during our, tour, as it were, was a lot more just whatever, temporary solution for now, let's continue the tour. So I definitely feel like we need to have a proper sort of management session sometime soon, where we go around and make sure the animals are just, operating all right. We also might need to go in and make some... Oh, let's do this. I love doing this. Yeah. Man, I honestly, still one of my favorite locations, still one of my favorite things to do in this zoo is just it just totally feels like you're going through a portal, as it reveals Camp Capuchin and stuff and all the colors from Pachamama's garden. I just absolutely love doing it. Definitely a shot from a trailer if Elite Zoo South had one. beautiful. Sorry. We also might want to make some adjustments to this enclosure over here because, as many of you pointed out, yes, this is not the first time we have had trouble in this corner over here with the monkeys getting stuck. But beyond that, though, just as a reminder, we did get a pregnancy notification right at the end of the previous episode, more or less, right? If I recall correctly. Who was it? Wasn't it? Didn't we? I could have sworn we did. Oh no, it's that we had a baby. It's that we had a baby, right? That's what it was. Where are you? There you are. Kayla. 0.2 years old. Not the best stats, but, you know, that's fine. At least they're... at least babies are forthcoming. Though you will have noticed that I think our ladies are now infertile. Really? Are you serious, man? Okay, let's get a trash can in here because people are trash otherwise. Alright, here we go. Pop you down. I didn't want to crowd this space up, but I guess we have to. Sure, let's do that. Just off the path. Right, so I do believe, if I noticed correctly, yeah. Infertile male and an infertile female. We still have fertile males and fertile females. We'll keep at it. I mean, I guess it worked. Maybe they're just shy. I don't know. We'll keep at it. But Michaela, actually, before I forget, let's go ahead and get you on contraceptives, and then down the line, when this generation becomes adults, we'll have to get... oh, right, of course, I have to do it through here. We'll have to get new males and adjust this. Wow, the Western lowland gorilla is the most appealing of animals. Okay, interesting. This actually... Did this happen a while ago? I don't often pay much mind to this. It was the lions for so long that I almost was like, all right, it's going to be the lions always at this point. But no, it's the Western lowland gorilla. That's pretty neat. I do wonder what it uses to determine that. I do wonder. Now, food, I'll check really quickly as well. We can make grade 2 over here, grade 3 over here. There we go. Couple of upgrades. Yeah, excellent. Just make sure everyone's eating well. And among the animals, Michaela should do it by name. Why do we have a llama named 200? What? What happened here? I must have had a typo or something at one point. I'll take a look at it. For now, LMNOPQR. M is for Michaela. Where you at? There we go. Michaela, go ahead and put you on contraceptives. All right, cool. Now, we can take a look at the Zoopedia entry. We can take a look at the space, and we can take a look at getting to work. So again, I'm sure the thumbnail and the title and stuff have given away which animal that we're going to be adding today. I'm thoroughly excited to add them in. Part of the new DLC. Again, I did cover the new DLC's animals in a separate series, like a mini series of videos. We did a lot of experimentation over there, and it sort of gave me a chance to showcase the DLC without interrupting our flow at Elite Zoo South. And it also, I feel like we did the Australia DLC a bit of a disservice because of how we tried to integrate it. Lesson learned, right? You live and you learn. So I'm definitely glad with our approach with the aquatic DLC. So my thinking is we do the giant otter today, finish their enclosure off in the next session, and the session after that, I think it'll probably be the cassowary, and that way we can sort of start wrapping up the Australia section, and then we can start going back and forth between Africa and the aquatic DLC animals, one of which will take us to Elite Zoo North, I suppose. But for now, we work with the giant otter, and hopefully it won't be otter madness, because it definitely was in that mini-series. Learned a lot of lessons from that, so I'm definitely glad we did that. All right. The giant otter. Oh, dear. Pteronura brasiliensis. They are endangered. Population in wild is just 5,000, which is ridiculously low. The giant otter is a large semi-aquatic mammal that lives in the Amazon River Basin and the Pantanal wetlands of South America. The giant otter has thick, velvet-like brown fur with distinctive white markings around its throat. Giant otters have large, webbed feet and a wing-like tail adapted for swimming. Male and female giant otters do not differ in size and are typically between 60 inches and 72 inches long, though they vary in weight. Males weigh 57.2 pounds to 70.4 pounds, while females are slightly lighter with 48.4 to 57.2 pounds. All right, fair enough. The giant otter is endangered. It has been extensively hunted for its pelt in the past, especially in the 1950s and 1960s, and this continues to be an issue at present. However, The biggest current risk to the giant otter population is habitat degradation and habitat loss due to deforestation and water pollution. We'll try and address some of that stuff with the education boards we put up in the area and see if we're able to integrate that stuff a little bit more to the space as well. This is going to be one of the spaces that is more of a playful space, I guess is the way to describe it. Similar to, I would say, the Lions. The space is a bit more of a playful space, as it were. It's not really. Yes, there's a bit of a geographical reference there, but it's more a reference to the Lion King, and it's more cheeky in that sense. It's not like a cultural reference. It's not like a sort of a reference to the environment. I would say our giraffe and zebra enclosure is like a reference to the environment, whereas, for example, the hyenas are a historical reference, whereas the dingoes are more of a cultural reference. So we mix and match a little bit. We do a bit of a variety. And so I would say this is definitely going to be more of a fun kind of play space approach as we try to create a fun what to call it complex, I suppose, for the otters. All right, moving on though. Natural habitat, yeah, fairly clearly outlined over here, smack dab in the middle. Aquatic, tropical, and grassland. Land requirement is 360 meters squared. Should be relatively easy to accomplish that. 142 meters square of water. The depth needs to be 72 meters squared. I think we're fine over here. But again, this did give me a lot of pause for pause, as it were, in that mini series that I did. So I just want to be very careful of that. I want to make sure I don't cack something up over here. We also can't delete this water, if memory serves me right, because we've got Trouble Down River, right? So we'll have to experiment with that a little bit as well, potentially. We'll find out, I guess. And temperature requirements will be fine for, I think. We might actually need some coolers. We might get a little too hot here at times. We'll keep an eye out for it. And again, there's going to be like water thermal regulators and stuff potentially necessary as well over here. All right, group size 2 to 15, up to 9 males, up to 9 females. Bachelors are 2 to 9 for males and 2 to 6 for females. Dominance is dominant mated pair within family group. They are monogamous. Relation with humans is confident, but guests cannot enter the habitat. Size is 5.46 feet long versus 5.46 feet long, male and female. Okay, it's the same. Life expectancy is 17 years across the board. Wait, these numbers are not the same as these numbers. Why are the numbers different? I guess averages, as this is giving us averages. 63.8 for males, 52.8 for females. Sexual maturity at 2.5 years, sterility at death. That's a good long time to make babies. 1 to 5 offspring per mating event, 2-month gestation period, and 12-month interbirth period with easy reproduction in captivity. So that should be pretty good. We've seen it as well in that side series. Social needs. Giant otters live in family groups consisting of a dominant mated pair and their offspring, usually the current year's litter of pups and the previous year's older litter of pups. Their groups are highly cohesive and cooperative. In the days running up to, I never get this right, estrus, I believe, a male and female will engage in chasing behaviors and play. Once a male and female have bonded, they will mate several times a day throughout estrus. Pregnancy lasts between 64 to 71 days, after which the female will give birth to a litter of 1 to 5 pups, with an average litter of 2. Pups are born with gray fur and are blind. Their eyes open approximately 28 days after birth and will move well independently at around 50 days after birth. Sorry, I feel like I misread that. Eyes open 28 days later, move independently 50 days later. They will first leave the den at 63 to 67 days old, which will also be the first time they swim. Pups reach sexual maturity at around 2 years old, at which point they will begin to distance themselves from their family group or be ousted aggressively by the dominant pair. Young males and females will leave their family group and family territory in search of an unmated otter with whom they can establish their own territory and reproduce with. Giant otters are monogamous and mate for life. Good stuff. Obviously, not much has been researched over here. I do believe there is, yeah, there's the one enrichment item, which is a very fun one that we'll be unlocking with our research. Some food enrichment items as well, which, can't remember which food enrichment item it would be. One of those days. But yeah, fair enough. Most of the research is done though, so that's all good. Interspecies enrichment, there is none, and of course, no world records from us. Not just quite yet. Cool. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now, can we? I just want to check really quickly before we dive into this time lapse. Can we actually? Moment of truth. So this is roughly where the water level is. If I get rid of the water, can I re-add it? Oh, I can. Okay, good. So we are able to. Yeah, I guess ever since we separated these two sections, we've been okay, right? If I undo, let me just make sure it's the same over here, like up to roughly here, right? So if I undo and undo, yeah, it looks like we're still at the same level. All right, fantastic. That gives us a bit more freedom and allows us to, well, yeah, adjust this as necessary, change the shape if necessary, and more importantly, perhaps make it deeper if necessary. I don't know if we'll need to. What becomes challenging is how we get an underwater viewing spot over here, because of course I do want to try and do that. This is going to be a challenge. We might need to get another elevator in here as well, because we're probably going to need stairs over here. This is going to be a challenging one. This will be interesting. But I feel like there's no more need to delay. Nothing else to take care of first. I mean, I guess what I could do is really quickly check animal market. The animal market, sorry, for any really good high-quality giant otters. I'm not sure how rare or common they are, so I just want to check before we dive in. I've been meaning to make this a habit, but I keep slipping my mind. Yeah, see, this isn't that great. It's not a very good selection. I mean, sure, let's at least get Paloma over here, 4,200. Go ahead and adopt you. And then we'll... no longer available. Should have just jumped on it. I guess you're not that bad either, right? Sure. Again, no medal or anything, but definitely better stats than these other ones. So we've got ourselves a male giant otter. We need to get ourselves a female after the time lapse. Hopefully a better one will show up. That's why I'm just being patient over here. I'll just get you into quarantine. Again, I've been meaning to make this the habit, but it often slips my mind. All right, with that done, folks, I think we're ready to dive in. Nothing to do. I'm going to actually unpause for a second over here because I want to see the waterfall effects and stuff as we get in. Maybe a bad idea because now I can see these as well. You know what? We're actually going to go ahead and get rid of these. I've never really been satisfied with these VFX over here. They just don't feel very good. So we'll go ahead and get rid of them, and then we can rework them afterwards. What do we want to do after over here, though? Like, I don't know if I want to make it so that guests can come up on the other side and then continue up to Africa from over here. Maybe not a bad idea. Gives us something to do over here as well, right? We put like food and stuff down. Yeah, that maybe. We'll see how the enclosure ends up, folks. Anyway, enough of my ramblings. It's yeah. It's time lapse time. All right, folks, I gotta be completely honest with you. This is one of the more frustrating time lapses that we've had in recent times. It was just, I mean, you'll see it as it happens, but a constant struggle with the pathing system yet again. And again, folks that play these games, you will know just how painful the path system can be sometimes. And today we were tackling with basically every way it can be difficult to work with, we had to work with. So you will see me struggling with the path system a fair bit here and there. But at the end of the day, though, despite all those struggles, despite all those trials and tribulations, I feel like the end result is definitely something to be very happy with. I'm quite pleased with the overall kind of experience we've built for our guests, for the animals as well, though there's going to be a lot of work on that front, especially still to do. There's still, again, there will be a fair few adjustments that we'll be making in the next session. This session is definitely not the entire sort of completion of this enclosure. Definitely not. But we do get a big part of the way there. We get the animals in after the time lapse as well. But I think what will happen is that next session we'll get all those kind of finishing touches in and do a little bit of reworking as well. when I've sort of recuperated my patience and my energy, as it were. But yeah, you can see basically everything from like the ramps to the train not cooperating to the things not snapping properly to levels not lining up perfectly to just like everything that could cause an issue did cause an issue in the production of this enclosure. And not the enclosure alone, but the area around it as well, you know, connecting it from place to place and stuff like that. Quite happy with the mobility and the movement that it affords our guests, though, now that it's kind of, well, you know, after when it gets kind of put into place in its entirety, it really does let our guests much more easily sort of cut through South America and access the African animals if they decided they want to check out the llamas, maybe the capuchin and then roll back, or, you know, check out the Baird's tapir and then roll back and go to Africa. It really opens up a whole other angle of approach for our guests, and I like it. Now, this huge bridge that we're kind of basing everything off of right now in the opening acts of this time lapse, it actually goes out the window. So it's kind of funny how it was a big driving force in our layout, and then I basically literally at the end of the time lapse I decide I don't like it, and we end up with something significantly better, at least in my humble opinion. You can see I am making sort of a two-layer approach over here because I would like the guests to come real low and kind of like, quote-unquote, hang out with the animals as well. But of course that provides the challenge of, okay, well, how do guests actually get down here, and how do guests get up from here? So trying to figure that out over here. At the same time, I wanted to make sure guests at that second layer up top would be able to actually see the animals below them, so I don't want the path blocking their view. A lot of fiddling, and again, like, some of it is, you know, entirely self-inflicted, of course. A lot of it was, I did try to do a fair number of, again, different things with this enclosure, and in terms of how guests can walk around and whatnot. And I don't know if they'll use all these intricate layered paths and whatnot, but it's good to know that the option is there. So yeah, a lot of the wounds here are self-inflicted, but at the same time, the system itself wasn't doing me any favors. But you can see over here, I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, well, how do guests get down here? Do they only get down here from the Africa side? Does that make any sense? And then what? It's not a loop, and if it's not a loop, guests are less likely to use it, and it's not really as much of a shortcut that, you know, of the two options, going over or staying under, one of those just no longer makes any sense, and so we're not going to see guests there, and that's unfortunate. So I decided, okay, fine, let's back away from that. Let's focus on this side first, and this is where things start to get extra frustrating. So obviously trying to get these layers attached and trying to use ramps because we're trying to avoid stairs as much as possible. Outside of where we want to put elevators as well. This is one of those cases I didn't want to, like, I wanted to use ramps. I didn't want to use stairs. But just getting these things to attach is just like, come on, just attach. I understand their limitations, but like, so like painful to deal with. And like, when you approach it from one angle it works, but from the other angle it doesn't. And that's not even the worst of it. See, over here, I wanted to get these some facilities down, some stores down and whatnot. And I figured whatever, they'll, you know, hover over top of the pathing, and that's fine. But no, the game doesn't want me to put down any paths over there anymore because the terrain is not suitable, because the terrain is not flat. And even as I flatten the terrain over here, you can see I flattened the entirety of the terrain. The game still will not allow me to extend the pathing over there. And it's just like, I don't know why, I don't know what's going on. That'll happen later. For now, though, I'm taking a different angle to give guests access to this lower level over here. You can see a little bit further out. It's also the path that our staff will take. Obviously, getting a staff entrance and making sure the staff entrance is connected to all the important parts of the enclosure is, you know, kind of a big deal. So this is also where the staff will be going down from to enter into the enclosure. I believe I'll tackle that relatively soon, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with this lower kind of walkway and all that. Yeah, path time right now. They're just getting this established over here as well, so it's not too much of an eyesore or anything. It's there, it has to be there. I guess I could have gone the other way around to hide it behind, like, underneath the terrain or something, but I felt like that was just going to overcomplicate the space even more. It's fine to have this little door exposed, so you can see where the keepers are coming in from and stuff. But we do kind of like, and again, we have to do a little bit to make it feel a bit more fitting, I suppose, naturally. Otters aren't climbers or anything, so we can use that type of log to block stuff off, but we'll we'll figure that out later, I suppose. Over here as well, I'm putting up these glass barriers. I did the one-way glass, not because the animals are shy or anything like that, but because I felt like it might make a better viewing experience from like the other side. Like if I'm looking across, I think I would rather see these like dark gray panels than a bunch of other humans staring at the animal. I'm not 100% sure just quite yet. Might change it up, but for now, we go with the one-way glass. We can always change it later. And you can see over here, even struggling, just like, okay, what do we want to put down over here? At the time, I didn't think about putting down the logs. I thought, well, can we cover it up with like columns or trees? I end up going with the trees over here because we will need some vegetation. These guys do expect some vegetation. Much more than what I'm putting down today, by the way, so that'll be another thing to tackle. And yeah, just trying to, like, again, hide this transition phase, I suppose, if you will. Finding a way to, like, put something down over here. And we end up with this giant, what is the rhubarb or what have you? I quite like how it looks. But yeah, and I think now we finally get to work on the actual enclosure itself. So you can tell there's a lot of work to do. Not a lot of time left today. So a little unfortunate, but I am glad we got this foundational stuff in place. At least the shape of the enclosure is looking right. The way the guests come through is looking right. All that stuff is in place. We are going to do a little bit of work today, though. I mean, we're not done yet. We are going to add, some platforms and things like that, just to make sure the animal is able to roam around and dip into the water and whatnot. But yeah, most of today's session was definitely spent building the shape of the enclosure, if you will, the layout of it. And it's been interesting because, again, we're trying to like sort of fit this into a space that initially wasn't supposed to be an enclosure at all, right? This was just a space, and now it has taken on quite the responsibility, and I quite like it. I mean, it allows, like I said, our guests to cut through the area. It's a whole other animal. I feel like it's a nice kind of intimate space as well, with the waterfall and all that kind of stuff. I really quite like it, and with that second floor that's been causing me quite the heartache up top, where we have where I intend to rather put down facilities. We're gonna have a nice like viewing spot as well. We're gonna get some what are they called? Some benches, some picnic benches and whatnot, and get all that done. Over here, I have a lot more work to do. I got to build like ramps and stuff because again, these guys aren't climbers, so I have to build ramps and staircases and whatnot for them to be able to climb the platform and roam around and whatnot. So that'll be a lot of work, but I wanted to make sure I took care of some more urgent stuff before today's time lapse concluded. So block off a little exit, and I started building stairs over here, but I thought, nah, they'll be able to jump in from up there. It'll be fine. Let's go ahead and get these facilities down. But as I alluded to earlier, the game says no. And I try, whatever I think the solution might be, and the game keeps saying no. This was very frustrating. I'm going to be honest with you. It almost made me want to stop recording because it's just like not how I want to spend any part of my day. And again, like I said, anybody who, if you play the game as well, you will understand just how much of a struggle the pathing system can be. It's been fairly often I see comments from folks on like older videos, especially like, hey, yeah, finally got the game, and I thought you were, complaining a little bit too much about how the pathing works, but now that I've played, oh my god, I see what you're talking about. It's like, yep, it cannot be explained. It cannot be explained. Really unfortunate. Anyway, back over here, reconnecting our staff path. We had to demolish it earlier to make things fit. And now for the final act of this of this time lapse, I decide, you know what? I'm not really loving the top-down view. Let's go ahead and get rid of that bridge. Let's go ahead and make this a ramp down over here. Oh, I'm gonna have to readjust that. I forget to edit that space. I don't know if the llamas can get there, but I should adjust that. But yeah, let's get rid of that bridge that cuts across, and let's instead develop this lower level a little bit further. It actually ends up being quite nice. I quite like the shape it ends up taking. It needs a couple of adjustments. But that is, in fact, yes, the final act of this time lapse. I am quite pleased with how it looks overall, but of course, plenty of work left to do. But that's for next time. For now, today, we're going back to regular speed. Alright, folks, we are back from the time lapse, and I gotta say, that was, oh man. That was a lot more challenging than anticipated. Every time path work gets involved, it's just there's so many little things that don't work together. I'm just gonna straight up say it. They just don't work together. And like, for example, this path work over here at the end, you saw the struggle of how like it let me put this path down the first time, And then when I wanted to attach something to it, it was like, no, it's not flat enough. And no matter how much I flattened the terrain, it wouldn't let me put the path down. I was like, okay. So I was remove the path and try and put it down again. And then it was like, no, it's not flat enough. And I was like, why? You let me do this literally moments ago. I even tried like removing the, I don't know, whatever. It's a little frustrating sometimes where it's just like things that literally have worked minutes ago stop working minutes later. It's just like, how am I supposed to make progress? That ended up taking so much more time than anticipated, but it's okay. I'm fine with that because I do feel like we have a very, very solid foundation from which we can develop next session and cap this area off. I'm glad that we toyed around with that bridge. I don't quite love this. I just realized this little like dip and then back up. We'll fix this later though. We'll fix this in the next time lapse. But yeah, I got rid of that bridge that like cut right across. I liked it at first, but then I felt like, you know what? It's just like kind of takes away from the charm of this space, like, you know, from a distance, that like massive kind of gorge kind of a feel and whatnot. So I thought we keep that, get rid of the little bridge thing, and have like a little mini bridge down over here. I feel like that works better. But I'm sure I talked about that during the time lapse. I digress. Let us go ahead and do what, right? One thing I want to do right off the bat is actually check if I can. I meant to do this during the time lapse. My apologies. It completely slipped my mind until we zoomed back down over here that I didn't actually sit down and add these vendors. And look at this, now it's letting me attach over here. Well, right, because I guess because we deleted everything back over here. So do I even need this ring anymore? Can I just hold on? Let me. None of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. All right, let's see. Facilities. Go ahead and get a gulpy slush. It's been pointed out that I don't think I have a gulpy slush anywhere. So, you know, first time for everything. No. No, you're not going to let me attach? Nowhere. Down over here a little bit, but not up over here. Okay, what happens if I get rid of this path, right? Don't want it to be so wide. Terrain too uneven. All right, what if we flatten? I don't want that terrain adjustment to happen, but you know what? That wasn't as bad as it was the first time I was doing this. So maybe we're onto something here. Maybe this will actually work now. Don't want to get too excited, but feeling like it might work. All right, go ahead over to the facilities. Previously, I wasn't doing it with flattened terrain activated because I liked how close the terrain got to the edge of the thing. It was almost like we'd obviously put down some fencing, but you could basically like stand there and look down, and you would see into the enclosure. That's what I liked about it at first, but now it's kind of become, well, you sit here and you can look at if they're swimming around, you can kind of catch them. I don't know. We'll see how it feels and how it operates. I don't know if I can maybe push this back a little bit. The slightest bit, I suppose. Alright, it's not so bad. Just have to smooth. Ain't perfect. Ain't perfect because again, previously don't worry, I'm not gonna spend more time on this. What I'm gonna try and do, one last thing is this. I'm gonna go ahead and do this kind of a thing. There you go. I wanna see if I can push the terrain back a little bit. Sure, that's all it'll let me do. We can go ahead and smooth things a little bit, maybe. I'm probably gonna put down some rocks or something here anyway to properly cover this this gap up and like this gap over here as well, right? But yeah, we'll leave it at that. But let's just make sure that it lets me put down the facilities. It's just so strange. Will you connect? At certain spots, not at all spots. What if I do this kind of a thing? Then we try and put down a gulpy slush like this. Yeah, okay. Well, this is probably what we're gonna have to do then. Put you down over here. So we got a gulpy slush. We're gonna go ahead and put down a, what do you think? Like a pip shot water. That's always popular. Water's always popular. So let's go ahead and do that. It's also, I think, fitting for the aquatic animal, right? Go ahead and do that. And then as far as food is concerned, I feel like we could try and do. What are we thinking here? Maybe a hot dog squad. You know, like otters kind of have a hot dog kind of shape, like they're long and thin. Maybe, sure, yeah, why not? Why not? That's all the logic and justification I need here. Now here it won't attach, obviously, because why would it? Why would it just work? Attach this. Let's go ahead and see if I can't. Let's do that, then get rid of you. That, then get rid of you. nudge it forward, just using that to flatten the terrain basically, and then the game won't have any excuses to attach these guys. So hot dog squad, yes, right over here. I just don't want the lineups to get too big or anything. Let's do that, and let's also get ourselves a Hat's Fantastic, maybe another food spot actually. We had fries in a long time, and you know, otters are kind of like fries, right? They're also long and thin, right? I also see the asymmetry, by the way, but that's fine. I'm gonna embrace it. I will take what the game wants to give me right now. I'll accept it. That time lapse broke me. What else do I want to do? I want to get a a Hat's Fantastic is nice. I don't think we've had one of those in a long time. So the merch store, Hat's Fantastic. And I pop you down over here. Yes. Let's also go ahead and flatten to foundation back over here, because if I can get an info center, that would kind of complete the whole circuit, as it were. Facilities, info center, please. There we go. Nice. And thank you. What I might do later is flatten this a bit more and then move these stores back a little bit. We'll see if it gets crowded or whatnot. But for now, just I want to get the animals in. Oh, don't. All right, might as well do it all now then. See, this is the kind of stuff that I have so little patience for. Go ahead and move you. No, not exactly what I wanted. Just move you back to there for now. Move you. Come on. Back to here. The reason why I have so little patience for it is because I would expect this stuff to just kind of work at this point. The game has been out for quite some time. Anyway. Go ahead and move you. Exit the group. And why are we creating... Why are we... Why? We don't... Why? Okay, let's see if we can unassign the type that adds the railing or whatever. Pop you down there, sure. Move you. Okay, good stuff. Now we don't have railing. Again, I'm just about ready to accept what the game gives me. Pop you down over here, sure. Eventually my impatience and my neuroticism will take over, and then I'll come back in and I'll make fine-tuned adjustments and whatnot. But for now, today's session, definitely feeling it. All right, here we go. Pop you down over there. Wonderful. So info center. Now the washroom was the last thing I wanted to get in over here. And remember, folks, again, and as always, name suggestions are very much welcome across the board. Washroom all the way at the end over here. Seems like a suitable place. I do not want guests to be able to watch the zebras and giraffes from over here. That is not the intent. I want them to go up over here. Maybe later I'll change my mind, but for now, that's the plan. Let's go and put the washroom back over here. Can I get rid of you? And come on now. Watch, this doesn't want to connect. Let me, game. You are really and truly killing me here. Unsuitable terrain for path connect. I can put a path down. I put the path down just fine. Lying to me, game. And it's not going to let me do it. I don't think it'll let me do it the other way around either. At least previously it wasn't letting me do it the other way around. So if I do that... Okay. You know what? Like I said, I'll take it. We'll create like a nice covering and stuff over here later on. I don't know if it'll be in the next session or if it'll be during a beauty pass. But we'll create a nice covering and a very nice overall space over here. I'm very excited for this space, actually. Very excited for this entire space. It's just nice to see this area finally get some love. And it'll be nice to see the staff room over here as well get all covered up. But I want to kind of experiment with what we can let the otters actually do in this area before we get a little too adventurous. It would be awesome if the otters could actually, like, you know, get up over here, but we'd have to be very careful to make sure they can't get out of here as well. But anyway, I'm quite pleased with how this space is looking. A couple of issues here and there, but I think all it will take is like a beauty pass, or not even a beauty pass, but next session's completion pass to get a lot of this stuff kind of cleaned up and looking a lot better. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look and see if we cannot get ourselves another otter. I would like to have 2 otters. I would like to put them in here. I'd like to see them interact with the space, see what limitations we have, and whoops, animal trading is what I meant to do. And then we'll move on from there. So one more. Oh yes, beautiful. Yeah, I'll pick you up. We need a female, don't we? Don't know if the 2 males are likely to fight, but this is I thought I said adopt. Oh, great, fantastic. It's okay. But yes, I do believe we need a female. These stats though. These stats though. Yeah, I guess you'll have to do, Rosa Maria. I guess you'll have to do. Or you'll be gone too. Why? Why? If I close this. There you go. Sure. From Frontier Zoo, I'll take it. I'll take the bronze rank. Go ahead and move you over. It's just like, come on. My luck. Over to quarantine. Done. Alright, beautiful. We have a pair. We have ourselves a pair. Let's go ahead and unpause, yeah? Man, I guess this ended up being utter madness after all, eh? God. Or was it utter chaos? I don't know. Chaos. Chaos can be whimsical. Animal died over here. We lost ourselves a koala. James just taking the eternal nap over here. Fair enough, buddy. We gotta get ourselves a new male, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check here real quick. Come on, let me click. There we go. Yeah, we need ourselves a new male. And you know what? Ellie and Frankie can be taken off of contraceptives. Where? Oh, there you are. They're so cute. Last time's thumbnail was just absolutely adorable. Alright, that's Ellie. And let's go ahead and get Frankie as well. Oh, yeah. There's Frankie. Crossing the road over here, as it were. Let's go ahead to animal trading. How could you walk away from this cuteness? Over to the animal market. Let's get ourselves a male koala. Hopefully one of high quality. Where are we? K for koala. Beautiful. Yeah, no. That's about exactly how I expected it to go. I think Oscar there is our best bet. Sure, go ahead and adopt you. Gotta get you to quarantine first as well. All the way over. Let's go. What are we looking at in terms of our animals? You ready? Nope, that's James passing away. More vet research completion over here as well. What do we got? Oh, the spotted hyena and the eastern blue-tongued lizard have been completed. Very well, good timing. The spotted hyena. You know what, let's go ahead and get Michelle working on the koala over here. It's supposed to help them breed. Supposedly it helps them breed, I mean, rather. So we'll check in on that. Eastern blue-tongued lizard. Look at your Wikipedia entry over here. Fun fact number 1. I might do this one today and then the other next time, because I do want to obviously get the otters in there, right? Eastern blue-tongued lizards give birth to live young. Okay. Eastern blue-tongued lizards may detach their tail when attacked as a distraction. Their tails can grow back after attachment. I've always found that's so hilarious. It's like distraction tail. It's like distraction candy thrown out of your pocket or something. That's pocket sand. That's pretty good. When threatened, the eastern blue-tongued lizard will puff itself up, hiss, and stick out its blue tongue to intimidate predators. Does that tend to work? I mean, I understand puffing yourself up to make yourself look bigger and whatnot, and making noise to seem more aggressive. But what does the tongue have to do with anything? Does the tongue have to do with anything, or is it just what they do? Adult eastern blue-tongued lizards shed their skin approximately every 6 weeks. That is very often. Yeah, that is very often. Eastern blue-tongued lizards have a strong and painful bite and often will not let go of the bitten object. Okay, so a lot of these, like, I don't know, a lot of these facts leave me wanting. It's just like, how strong? How strong? Like, if they bite my hand, will I not be able to pull them off without ripping a chunk of, like, you know what I mean? Like, how strong is strong? They will not let go of the bitten object. Okay. But, like, I don't I don't know. These guys are pretty interesting. I found them interesting the moment we that the DLC dropped because I don't know, they just from their name to their behavior and everything. It's been something. All right. Oscar's en route. We will, of course, need a name suggestion for our otter enclosure as well. Go ahead and move both of you over. Man, it's just so nice to finally have this space be a space, you know? To finally have this space be a space. Anything super pressing over here? Good. I also want to check our zoo animals. We have food quality that we can improve, right? The spotted hyena, we can now give grade 3 food. You know what? Why don't we dive into their fun facts right now? What was the hyena that we just finished researching? Right, so over to zoo. You know what? I want to check. Yeah, the hyena must be done. Where are you, though? We did the African wild dogs fun facts, right? I'm pretty sure we did. I remember. Yeah. You know, I remember questioning some of the. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's go ahead and search the hyena over here. All right. Fun fact number 1. The spotted hyena's laugh is a distress call that a hyena gives when it is being chased or attacked. Despite popular perception, spotted hyenas are formidable predators, not scavengers. It is quite funny how we are misled about that fairly often. That's it's a very common visual to see the hyena as a scavenger, but yeah, I don't know why we're fed these lies. Don't get me rambling on that front again. Fun fact number 2, hyenas are the only members of the order Carnivora that give birth to young with open eyes and fully developed teeth. Oh, that's actually very interesting. Also terrifying to think about. Fully developed teeth. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, mostly, like, closed eyes is a very common thing until much later, but that's, Alright. Fun fact number 3, females are larger than males and dominate in spotted hyena society. They're hyper-masculinized. Their external reproductive parts look male. Yes, I have been told this in the comments multiple times. I feel like I could have gotten more mileage out of Fun Fact 3, you know? It's like, yeah, I some of these things are in the other tabs. Give me more about that second half. They are hyper-masculinized. What do you mean? Apart from their external reproductive parts look male. All right, fair. Are there other elements as well? And like, okay, this is gonna be a little weird, I guess. But how can you say that? And I know what the answer is, but let me throw this thought out there. How can you say that the female of a species is hyper masculinized when it is the female of the species? You know what I mean? Like, you're comparing that species to other species and determining what is feminine or masculine. How can you say you know what, it's sort of a loop, and I get the answer to it, because, you know, we're like, from a comparative perspective, I suppose, looking at other species and whatnot, but like, even like their external reproductive parts look male. Well, but do they, or do they just look like female hyena reproductive part, right? Like, and again, I get the answer, but at the same time, it's a funny way to phrase it, because are they hyper-masculinized, or are they just, this is what a female hyena is like? I don't know. It's one of those weird things where it's just like, language is just sometimes, just can't hit the mark sometimes. It's one of those things, I guess. Anyway, I'm sure there's a very rational and clear and obvious explanation for it. And again, if it's the explanation that I think it is, then perfectly fair, obviously. But at the same time, I hope I'm making clear my my note there with regards to how can it be one thing that it is definitely not, by virtue of being. Yeah. Anyway, fun fact number 4. Getting myself a little caught up over there. Fun fact number 4. Spotted hyenas are extremely intelligent. Their group cooperation and skill learning abilities are on par with chimpanzees. Okay, that is wild. Yeah, man, we've been lied to about hyenas. This has been fun. I've enjoyed these fun facts. A lot of perception shifts. I mean, some of this stuff I have been told in the comments previously, which is cool too. But like, I just need to have the perception shift. I think that's the powerful tool of these fun facts and just games like this at times. Number 5, spotted hyenas have an extremely strong bite, yeah, I've been told this as well, that allows them to routinely crush bone. Their bite is stronger than a lion's. They can be very dangerous. In Malawi, in 1962, a pair of spotted hyenas killed 27 people. Okay, that got very dark very quickly. But wow. I've heard about the crushing bone thing. Their bite is stronger than a lion's. Yo. Hyenas are dope. And I've always like kind of liked them, but that was an interesting read through. I like that. All right, let's spend some time with our otters. Now it looks like they're not able to escape, which means we're off to a decent start compared to my usual. Take a look over here. They're not able to get into the water either. That was my concern, that they would not be able to get into the water, and that's why for a moment I was making a bit of a kind of a staircase kind of a thing over here. All right, listen. Oh, look at that. These guys who need the washroom. You'll make it, buddy. You'll make it. Oh, God. Look, it takes minutes for them to start littering. Seconds. Absolutely ridiculous. South American, right? So we can get some of these South American bins over here. Actually, I don't want to do the South American bins over here because I would much rather have the New World bins because they have that kind of like wooden, yeah, it's a vibe going, right? Why can I not? Right, because it's a slope. Gonna have to fix this area for sure. Put one bin over there. Up over here, we're gonna have to get bins. So monsters. Bin up over here. I mean, hey, at least it's nice to see some traffic right off the bat over here. So that's silver lining thinking, I suppose. And yeah, we'll get donation bins and stuff down. I'm not super pressed or stressed about that. I want to make sure we are able to spend some time with the animals, because like we really haven't. It's not just about adding the animals; it is about spending time with them as well. This is also definitely a temporary solution over here. Might make it permanent with some supports, but for now it's just a temporary solution. What else do we have over here? They're gonna have issues with the environment and the space and stuff, and there's a lot to take care of. Come on now, into the water. Yes, beautiful. Still cannot escape. Oh nope. It's like I thought I saw. Yeah, okay, they can get out from back over there. Not a problem. Go ahead and block this route. There we go. One over here and one over here. This will be fine-tuned as well, obviously, this entire like hole in the terrain. All right, fantastic. These guys are really adorable. Habitat is not ideal, I assume. Look at that. I assume the terrain isn't ideal. Gonna run off, yeah. Plants they're unhappy with. The space is great. The terrain is off. They need more long grass, more short grass. Sorry, grass. More sand. Okay, less rock. Let's go ahead and get that grass in here first. Pause it. Goes a little bit smoother. More long grass as well, eh? Alright, get some long grass up over there. Reduce the size a bit. There we go. Less rock, more sand. Alright. Rock. Where are you getting rock? Where are you getting rock? Is all this is being counted as rock? Doesn't seem to be having any effect, no? Don't think it's the space down here. Usually it doesn't count this, if I recall correctly. Much rock. Doesn't seem to be counting all. Or hold on, is it because it's paused? No, doesn't seem to be the case. Yeah, I think I'll look into this later. Mostly, we've done a decent job of like keeping them in an environment they actually like, so I'm happy about that. Let's spend some time with the animal, and then we'll clean up the environmental needs next time. Oh my God, look at that! The one thing I kind of wish is that we could get like a underwater viewing angle for these guys. It's gonna be tough though. Like this space is already so busy. There's already so much going on. It's gonna be tough to also get the underwater viewing happening. try and figure it out, but I was, as you can see, this is like, it's been an interesting challenge trying to like sort of puzzle piece a new enclosure into a pre-existing space. This space was never made for this purpose, remember. This space was, you know, just a nice spot. That's all it was. All it was at first. But now it's definitely evolved into an enclosure that's with a new DLC. But, you know, oh, hold on a second. Don't go up there. You're going to just hide from the no. It's not the point of this. But yeah, with the new DLC and all that, with the new opportunity to include a new animal, it's been an interesting time going back and and seeing what we could adjust and what we can fit. And I'm glad we could as well. Like, I would have been really bummed out if we had so densely packed the South America section that you know, that we weren't able to fit any of the DLC animals. That would have been really unfortunate. But no, it's all worked out. Mostly. Just gotta make this space actually work. Yeah, I don't know exactly how I would fit an underwater viewing space, because again, we have to make sure guests are able to get here as well, right? And conveniently too. I don't want to like have them go all the way to Africa just to loop back to see this space. I don't know. Be tough. Be tough. There is the option, of course, to like, I don't know, maybe bring them down this way, but then we'd have to reduce how much water these guys have. We could bring the path over, you know, this way and then down, and then have it be underground over here, the underwater viewing. But again, the problem becomes, you know, like our accessibility challenge there comes in full force. That's been a part of the struggle with this enclosure, was like making sure the entire space was accessible and making sure that guests were able to, you know, visit without trouble, without struggle. And for those of you that were asking, I did see a question about, like, I think the question, I forget the exact phrasing, but it was along the lines of, like, are you allergic to stairs or something like that, which is hilarious. But no, just as a reminder, we do have this little, you know, self-made challenge of ours where we're trying to make the entire zoo accessible, you know, wheelchair accessible, mobility accessible. And it's been a driving force in a lot of the decisions we've made. It's why we have these, like, little elevator constructs around, right? Like, from time to time, we've gone ahead and built these like elevators like this one, or we've gone ahead and built the one down over here as well, nicely tucked away in here, because, you know, we had no choice but to use stairs. But when possible, I try to avoid using stairs, and we use ramps instead. And even with ramps, we try to like make them reasonable with like rest spots and whatnot. But yeah, so that's the answer to that question, I suppose, and hopefully that explains our so cute, our predicament, so to speak, from time to time, where we try to work around the space we have. And that's part of the reason why it'll be tough to make an underwater... Oh, there we go. Good job, buddy. It's a big jump. We weren't able to get down here when we didn't have the ramp, but now that we have the ramp, you're able to get down here with a jump. Like, that doesn't make any sense, but okay. I was hoping they'd be able to dive off the jetty over here, but, you know, I guess not. So fun to watch. They're so fun to watch. Where was I? Right, yeah, so getting the underwater viewing to work is going to be challenging in this kind of cramped space. And obviously, I'm sure you saw how tired I was getting of the pathing stuff. Can I have a little lie down, buddy? No, you're just going to dive in, aren't you? Oh, you're just going to fall in, rather. This thing is working, right? Yes, it is. Right, it wasn't, like, deep enough or what have you. Alright, good stuff. I mean, this is great to see. Looks like the space overall works for the otters. Looks like they are enjoying it. Looks like they've got plenty of room to swim. Looks like the guests are using the space as well. It's a nice shortcut for them if they want to see, you know, one animal over another. And I imagine the view from the from up there is pretty nice as well. Oh, you are walking on water. Alright, well, you're gonna jump, aren't you? Of course you are. Folks, I think that's our thumbnail right there. Not what I expected to capture, but you got the waterfall on the back, you got the trees up there, you got the nice kind of color contrast and everything. You got this epic jump going down, and some pretty great level of detail as well. Look at teeth and everything, man. Absolutely wild. Well, not only do you have the thumbnail there, but you also have the end of the session. This is what we're going to call it. There is a fair bit of work left to do in this area for sure. Looks like we have... What's wrong? Oh, you know what? You know what's the problem? Yeah, that's the problem. Come on, man. Pop on out over here. And you've been in the box for too long, so let's go ahead and unbox all animals over here. Thank you very much. And with that, we're going to call it a session. This will be an interesting follow-up session next time where we try to finish all of this, or at least as much of this as possible. And I think what we'll probably do is after we finish this, we'll do a beauty session in the area. I feel like it'll take the extra turn to get all the extra session to get all the facilities and stuff looking up and like looking proper and whatnot. What is that? A floating? No, it's not. Is that a floating turd? Oh no, it's a leaf from one of the VFX things. All right, cool. But yeah, getting like these facilities done, getting all this covered up, getting this thing covered up, that'll all obviously take a fair bit of time. And I want to create an interesting kind of play space as well. I don't think these guys are climbers, right? So we'll have to make sure they have like ramps and stuff to get up and around. Things are going to be pretty complex over here, but hopefully you enjoyed this session. If you did, you know what to do. Let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. As always, it makes a massive difference in how I approach content on the channel, how I go about doing things, what I do when I do them. I do read through all the comments as well, you know, outside of the rare occasion when I'm unable to. But yeah, so keep those likes and comments coming, folks. It does make a very big difference. And the other thing that makes a very big difference, like I always say, are all the channel members and patrons to whom I would like to give a massive thanks. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. So thank you very much for that support month over month. A big old thanks as well, of course, to all of y'all for watching. Till next time. Cheers.